jumping anybody, so make your choice right.
Select to make your first pick. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Choose and pick the best one. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Does Roronoa Zoro have Conqueror's Haki? And well, this was a question I asked the community with a poll, with majority of the vote astoundingly agreeing with yes. There are currently only 15 characters in the entire story that have Conqueror's Haki. And well, in today's video, we're going to discuss why the community believes Zoro will join this illustrious group. Before we begin the video, you guys know the drill by now. Every Conqueror Haki user all have qualities of a king and are in position of leadership and power. But you could say that being the strongest or wanting to become the strongest is just a different title of king, as you're standing head and shoulders above everyone else, while you sit at the top becoming the cream of the crop. And of the 3 characters that have the title of World's Strongest, Whitebeard World's Strongest Man, Kaido World's Strongest Creature, and Mihawk World's Strongest Swordsman, 2 of those 3 have the qualities of a king and have Conqueror's Haki. So it's safe to assume that Mihawk, who aimed to be the world's strongest swordsman, also has Conqueror's Haki. So you would understand why people think Zoro too will have Conqueror's Haki, as he's aiming for the exact same title that Mihawk currently has. So the question still remains, does Zoro have the Haki of the Supreme King? And well, King's Haki works a lot different than just regular old armament and observation Haki. It's not something everyone has. You're either born with it or you don't. You see, the main reason people speculate that Zoro does indeed have Conqueror's Haki is not only because he is considered the first mate and the second strongest in the Straw Hat crew, but it's mostly through comparisons with other people why people believe that Zoro will obviously have Conqueror's Haki by the end of the series. The obvious comparison is of course the Roger Pirates, where you have Goldie Roger himself and his crew, who had quite a few of Conqueror Haki users, and he himself usually compared to with Luffy, and Luffy being like not the reincarnation but the one carrying the will of Roger. And being that his crew is always compared to Luffy's crew, a lot of people compare Zoro with the first mate, the vice captain, Silver's Rayleigh, who also had Conqueror's Haki. If you want to include Douglas Bullet from the movie One Piece Stampede, then Roger had a total of 5 members that had King's Haki. And with that many Conqueror users in one crew, obviously a lot of people speculate, if Roger's crew has that many King's Haki users, why can't Luffy's crew? And there are actually other crews that have more than one member with Conqueror's Haki. There is Roger's Pirates, of course. The Rocks Pirates had Rocks. Also Kaido, Big Mom, and Whitebeard, who each of them had their own Conqueror users in their crew, like Big Mom Pirates, Big Mom, and everyone's favorite older brother, Katakuri, and even the Whitebeard Pirates with Whitebeard and the Chadley Oden. You can speculate if Ben Beckman and King or even Marco has Conqueror's Haki. I wouldn't be surprised, but we'll just have to wait and see. Seeing how the Beast Pirates hierarchy is based off strength, and King is the second strongest after Kaido, and once Kaido is gone off the battlefield, King takes leadership role and leading the Beast Pirates in the battle against the samurai, you wouldn't be mistaken to assume that King does indeed have Conqueror's Haki, as he had to prove his strength and battle to the top to assume his position in the Beast Pirates. He does often take the initiative, something that all Conqueror users share in common. Luffy is potentially the future pirate king, and he's supposed to surpass all of these crew, even Roger himself one day, so it's not really far-fetched to think that there's going to be more than one Conqueror's user in the Straw Hat Pirates. But also, there's another comparison that I want to talk about, and that is Kozuki Oden, who you could say is now inheriting the will of Oden by using the sword Enma in the battle against Kaido. You could say that Zoro will eventually surpass Oden, as well as he will carry on his will and do things that he wasn't able to do. But with the sword Enma, not many people could actually use that blade, and in fact you have to have a very powerful will to tame Enma, and the only 2 people thus far in the story that are able to do that is Oden and Zoro, who is still trying to learn how to control Enma and use its full potential. Only people with a very strong willpower and high ambition are able to tame Enma. You could even say the will of a king are the only people that are able to control Enma and use it to its full extent. and probably one of the main reasons why people think Zoro will have or does have Conqueror's Haki, and that is the comparison with Mihawk. If Mihawk has Conqueror's Haki, then so does Zoro, and vice versa. Why? Not only is Mihawk Zoro's end goal, but also they both aspire to be the same thing, the strongest swordsman in the world. Mihawk is the pinnacle of strength, the best swordsman there is. And something else is that he was also a rival to red-haired Shanks, who also has Conqueror's Haki. And you would think if Shanks has it, then probably does Mihawk as well, as they used to be rivals back in the day and used to have daily duels. And Mihawk is right now considered obviously the best swordsman in the world, while Shanks went on to become an Emperor of the Sea. These two both have very high ambition, both wishing to be the best or a king in their own right. Because Mihawk always wanted to be the world's strongest swordsman and be the best in his craft, he defeated every single person in his way and became the cream of the crop. All Conqueror users are unique and are leaders in their own right, all bowing to no one and carving their own path, although there are exceptions like Ace, Oden, and Katakuri who serve under another captain. They are leaders in themselves. If the captain were to go missing, they could lead in their stead. Characters with an unwavering will that aim for the top and reach the pinnacle also have qualities to become a king, such as Portgas D. Ace. Although he didn't want to be parking, he did want to surpass Roger and Whitebeard and become the strongest to find his worth in life. In my opinion, if your ambition or dream is to become the strongest in any category, the strongest man, the world's strongest creature, the world's strongest swordsman, I believe that cements you as someone who should have King's Haki, because you are conquering anyone and anything that's in your path, and you want to be the best, and metaphorically you want to be the king of these guys because you want to be the best and the strongest. If you have an ambition so high to be the strongest, I think of course you would have King's Haki, because you are conquering everyone below you and trying to be better than them and being at the top, the pinnacle of power, the cream of the crop, aka a king in some way. Everyone that has Conqueror's Haki are all considered leaders in their own right. You can look at the list: Boa Hancock, Big Mom Kaido, even Don Chinjiao, who you might not consider to be the most powerful, but he does have the will of the king because he is commanding an entire fleet and he does have very high ambitions. Zoro is an interesting one because he's not much of a leader, he's more of an enforcer and a lone wolf. Unlike other Conqueror users, Zoro isn't much of a leader at first, but when Luffy is incapacitated or not around, Zoro picks up the slack and becomes in a leadership role. Everyone seems to rely on Zoro, and while Luffy is the captain, Zoro is the enforcer, and he is the perfect right hand to Luffy as he makes people fall in line. And while Luffy might be going off goofing around, Zoro is the one to make Luffy understand the situation and remind him as well as the crew what they're doing. He compliments Luffy and balances him out with his serious composure. The best example of all of this is when the crew wanted Usopp back in the crew and Zoro had to remind them that this is not a game and was against it. Another great example is, of course, Bartholomew Kuma versus Zoro back in Thriller Bark, where Zoro took all of Luffy's pain and put it on his shoulder, carrying his burden and surviving purely off willpower. Although all the members of the Straw Hat Pirates have great qualities to be a leader and can take leadership role, they have done in their previous life before joining the Straw Hats: Brook, Robin, Frankie, and even Usopp. But Zoro is the perfect soldier, but if push comes to shove, he can be an excellent leader and definitely does indeed have the qualities of a king. He has the potential to be a great leader as people are willing to follow and listen to him because of his overall power and how strong he is. Of course, his overall great ambition compared to other people in the series. But I would understand why Oda wouldn't give Zoro Conqueror's Haki, and that is just to make Luffy a lot more special and unique. We have seen Oda go out of his way to make Luffy look a lot more unique and separate himself from the pack since the post time skip. And if he were to give other members of the Straw Hat Pirates, I guess, Conqueror's Haki, that would kind of make Luffy look less special, and Oda wants to make Luffy be head and shoulders above everybody else. I guess in Oda's eyes, you don't want to oversaturate this small group of people that have King's Haki, as we know not many people in the world have it. Also, to clarify, just because you don't have Conqueror's Haki doesn't mean you're not strong or special. We've seen many characters in the series that don't have Conqueror's Haki, but they're all strong and powerful in their own right. Unfortunately for Zoro, he does not have Conqueror's Haki at the moment. He does indeed have the potential to have it because of his portrayal, comparisons, and just his regular ambition being above most other characters. And it was kind of hinted at during the battle in Onigashima alongside Brook when everyone's scared. When Zoro got serious against Queen and everyone's like, oh my god, what's the shaking? And people are like, Zoro, is that you using Conqueror's Haki? And Zoro's like, you know it wasn't me, implying that you know that I don't have Conqueror's Haki, so I can't do this. So unfortunately, as of right now, he doesn't have it, but in a more serious situation, when he's in a pinch, he might finally unlock his latent potential. But that is the video. Put down in the comments if you believe that Zoro will also join this illustrious group of Haki users, considering that almost all of the right-hand men and the second strongest in certain pirate crews have King's Haki. It's not too far-fetched to believe that Zoro will too also have Conqueror's Haki. But if he weren't to have it, I wouldn't be that mad, because just because you have it doesn't make you any less weak. As examples being Trafalgar Law doesn't have Conqueror's Haki as far as we know, and that doesn't make him any less weak than he is. Also, it would help a lot if you guys vote in the polls that I put out in the community from time to time, because I will eventually make a video about them if I find them interesting enough. But that is it. I hope you guys all have a good day and a good night. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Toodles!